If you live in Miramar, you're probably familiar with this sound. That's an F-18 Super Hornet. And this is what one of them sounds like flying right over your house. David Kennedy has lived under the flight path for more than a decade.
So I've always kind of liked planes, and I live right next to Miramar, so I've gotten really used to listening to them and knowing what an F-18 sounds like, what a C-130 sounds like, and about a year ago I started noticing a plane that just sounded different.
That different sound wasn't a hypersonic jet or some new top secret military prototype. It sounded like a regular commercial airplane, the kind you'd hear at San Diego International Airport.
So I started looking out my window and, just saw these commercial flights.
And he did a little digging. Noticed that these flights were going to Mexico, Panama, even India. He looked up the private carrier and realized that it does a lot of work for Immigration and Customs Enforcement. That's when Kennedy reached out to KPBS and asked us to confirm whether ICE was using MCAS Miramar for deportation flights. Which we did by reaching out to Human Rights First, an immigrant rights nonprofit that tracks ICE flights across the country.
The scale has just dramatically picked up in the past year.
Savi Avri runs the organization's ICE Flight Monitor program.
This has been a really important initiative in giving people access to data to understand the scale and the scope of what is going on and how it's affecting local communities.
The Human Rights First data confirmed Kennedy's observations. They documented 85 ICE flights out of MCAS Miramar in 2025. There were 0 in 2024. Of those 85 flights, 53 were deportations, and the rest were to transport detainees to various detention centers within the U.S.
Around July, flights out of there really began to ramp up.
During the second half of 2025, ICE averaged 12 flights out of MCAS Miramar each month. In a statement, the Marine Corps base confirmed that it acts as a location for civilian, military, and federal flights. But they did not comment specifically on the increased flights by ICE. Avri says this is an example of the Trump administration using the country's military infrastructure to advance his mass deportation agenda.
Last fall, what we saw is that some other military airports started also being places where ICE flights were taking off from.
Although San Diego is home to the biggest land border crossing in North America, historically, it has not been a hub for deportation flights. For example, every ICE flight out of San Diego in 2024 was for domestic shuttles, meaning flying detainees to different areas within the U.S. But after Trump took office last year, there were more than 120 deportation flights out of both MCAS Miramar and San Diego International combined.
Under Trump, what's been really striking is that San Diego has actually become a place where deportation flights take off from.
Avri says that the ICE Flight Monitor program will continue to track deportation flights in civilian and military airports. Gustavo Solis, KPBS News.